Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to game.
And in today's episode, we are talking about, I have it written that we're talking about tactical RPGs, but I see that it's interchangeably discussed as strategy RPGs. So I'm going to go back and forth and say tactical and strategy. I hope
I
that's
think that
okay.
works. I think
Okay.
that works.
Yeah, so tactical and or strategy RPGs, ones we haven't played, but ones that we're kind of excited to play and that, I'm sure half of these we'll review on the pod at some point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and eventually. And please tell us which ones we should review, which ones you like the most, which ones you'd be most interested in hearing about,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
convinced that you should buy them slash play them.
Ooh, hoo, hoo, yes. Maybe some some listeners out there can convince us to buy games with some friendly comments on our episode.
That's true. That's true. Did you see how you were defended also, by the way? So there was one comment that was a little bit salty, and then another person commented back and said they thought you did a good job and that you did not deserve the hate you received.
No, I didn't see that at all. Are
You
you
should find it.
kidding
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. So
What? No.
somebody's defending you out there.
I'm gonna pull this up right now. Wait, what? That's so funny. No,
It's
I haven't.
nice.
Look at these strangers on the internet fighting. I love.
We're gonna
Keep it
find the
up.
positive out there, everybody.
No, keep fighting. I love it.
But okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna tell you a few things that are going on in the Jursak household, though.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's my last name for anybody that doesn't know that out there. Sam's last name.
Ew.
Anyway, it's gross. So just kidding, mom and dad, I love it. So anyway, we have J Bob's birthday coming up, or actually it just happened, but his birthday party is coming up.
Jay.
And yeah, he's all about, we're going to this like farm type place. There's different animals, there's some playgrounds, there's fishing. It's nice. It's really close. It's kids love it. And he loves the prairie dogs there. They just have like a little area where, field with a bunch of prairie dogs, and he loves the prairie dogs. And so it's his prairie dog themed birthday. And I don't get it why my kids are so into tiny rodents because N back in the day had a Hyrax themed birthday party, which is basically the African prairie dog of the world. So she had that, and then he has a prairie dog. Jay has a prairie dog. So
Prairie
yeah,
dog.
we've got the a shirt for him that says "Just a boy who loves prairie dogs," and that's what he's gonna wear.
That's so cute.
It's great. And Anne, though, has been very sweet. His older sister. Uh, we went to the store and I let her pick out a gift for him, and I kind of curated exactly which gift. At first she wanted to get like giant plastic things and whatever. That I was kind of like, yeah, we got a lot of giant plastic things in the house. Anyway, she eventually
Oops.
landed on he really likes like Lion King, specifically Lion Guard, the like offshoot TV series. And they had a Lion King Lego where you make like a Simba, baby lion. And he was just so excited. And Jay gave her the biggest hug and was so happy that she gave this to him. And it meant so much that his big sissy gave him a gift that he loved. He was so happy. It
Oh,
was a very sweet moment.
that's so sweet.
Yep, yep, yep. Anyway, did you find the comment?
I did find the comment. Yeah, it's from my friend, my opera singing friend Adrian, who just sang a fantastic Figaro with me
Oh.
back in June. That's so sweet of him to. He's a straight shooter, man. So like, had he agreed with the less than positive comment, he would not have commented, or
He
he
would have
would.
just piled on.
He probably would. No, he would not. No, he's really kind, but he would have been like, "Yeah, you probably deserve that." So thanks, Adrian. Thanks,
Well, cool.
buddy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, you got
yeah.
some defenders out there. But what else do you have going on out there in the real world?
In the real world land, I'm heading to Montana next week for another gig with Vax Nova. We are singing
Oh
out in
yeah.
Montana. Yeah, we're singing in Montana for an international choral festival. It's a little bit smaller this year, I hear, because of the world right
Yeah,
now.
we'll stick it with that. We'll call it that.
We'll stick, yeah,
Um, but okay, cool. Montana, fun. I like
yeah.
Montana. We have some relatives up there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a big state. There's a lot of places. Where we're at, I guess.
It's a really big state. We're in Missoula.
Missoula. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
only so many bigger-ish cities though.
It's a big state with a lot of space with where humans don't live.
But it's beautiful space, and that's not just pandering. I do think it's beautiful open space.
But yeah, it's really pretty. We drove through Montana when we moved out to Seattle, and we were, like the joke was like, when are we ever going to get to leave Montana?
You
Because I
thought you
felt
were living in Montana then.
because we were driving for so long.
Yeah, I get
Ah,
it.
and then you blink and you miss Idaho after you leave Montana.
If you go through that, yeah, that far north, of course.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, cool, man. That's really exciting. Is it the same show, or is
No,
it?
it's not because the one we did back in May was with orchestra and it was the world premiere cantata. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
this is the festival wanted every ensemble to, if they can, kind of sing stuff from their country, if you can. So since we're
Mm.
from the United States, we're singing a program of exclusively United States American composers, but specifically like American folk music. We're gonna do
Mm.
another. We're gonna do an excerpt from the cantata, the one that had no orchestra, the a cappella movement, movement five.
Oh.
We're gonna do that because that's also by an American composer. Shout out to Hans who
Mm.
wrote it. But yeah, we have a 25-minute program. We're also going to we're one of the choirs that will have a radio broadcast, and we will also be singing for the Missoula Paddleheads, which is the minor league baseball game.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty
That
stoked about that.
that is so exciting. Oh, dude, that's cool. Well, wait, so I can listen to it, you said, on a radio thing?
I
Or is
think
it or is there gonna
so.
be a live record? Okay, cool. Cool,
There, well,
cool.
there if they're like the other international festival we did 9 years ago, there should be like a live stream on their YouTube. But I don't know if that's exactly how we're gonna do it. But there,
We'll
it
post it
will.
on our socials. Everybody listen to Vox Nova in
Let's,
Montana.
yeah, Turn-Based Besties, listen to Vox Nova. Vox Nova
That's right.
fans, subscribe to Turn-Based Besties.
There you go. There you go. Okay, well, let's jump into it a little bit. I think we do need a little bit of background, though, on TRPGs slash strategy SRPGs. Let's talk about them. What are those exactly? So, they are turn-based
They are.
RPGs, but a subset of them. And what
Yes.
makes them unique? Well, primarily, you're going to be having these turn-based battles with a group of combatants or a team, one versus another, on an isometric grid a lot of times. So normally it's kind of a square-based grid. Might have different elevations, but kind of this square-based grid. There are times though that it's a hexagonal grid, and there are other games that it's kind of more free flowing. It's not as much of a grid. You can kind of take them to different areas and then they'll just be in that spot. And then there is, distance between units and whatever else, but there's not necessarily a grid. That might be more like the ones I've played like that are the Mario versus Rabbids
Hmm.
games are more like, or I think the second one is more like that without the grid.
Yeah.
And Valkyrie Chronicles, I've not played that, but it looks like there's no grid. And then I think XCOM doesn't necessarily have a strict grid. There's ones that just don't have exact, like there's areas you can walk and there's paths that you take and a certain distance your character can travel, but
Oh.
not an actual grid. Anyway,
Oh.
um, yeah, did you have
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I think that sounds right. I was looking at the isometric grid, and I was like, are all isometric grid? First of all, I can't say that fucking word. Are all isometric grid games strategy tactical games? And they aren't, not necessarily, because I feel like it has to also be like team versus team, not team versus trash mob. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more often team versus team. Um, and I guess I think we'll get in. I think there are some other ones that are maybe it's not a gigantic grid. There are some games.
Yep.
That's why I kind of put borderline ones. It's like, would you say Live Alive is? It's like a 5 by 5 grid or whatever it is, right? So it's not exactly the same thing because it's more of a positioning troops on a battlefield type feel for a strategy or tactical RPG,
Yeah, yeah,
and not
yeah.
just like
I
how close am I to the right? That's right. I think they're borderline.
It's
We
confusing. I would only say Live Alive probably. Well, first of all, like that seems one that's definitely up for discussion, right?
Yeah, I think it's up for
And
discussion.
I think the only
It's got
reason
some
why
elements.
I would probably err on the side of it doesn't because like the Lunar games are also isometric grid,
Yeah, yeah.
and I probably wouldn't consider them either strategy games. But like if someone wants to call them a strategy or a tactical RPG, like I am not I am not the king. of strategy RPG games. So like if they
Yeah,
want to call it
yeah.
that, I'd say go for it.
I think those ones are more turn-based RPGs where your physical proximity matters more, and so they have a
Yeah.
little bit of movement around,
Yeah.
rather than movement on a battlefield. I
Yeah.
think that's how I would talk about it. Other things, though, I mean, these are RPGs. They have normal RPG elements. They have parties and characters, classes, and leveling up with XP and gear and items and magic and all those things that you're used to and all the good stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I said, there's more of an emphasis on battle and strategy and less of an emphasis on exploration of an overworld. You might have a hub world where
Yeah.
you upgrade your troops and you buy more stuff and you heal and whatever else, and then you go back out for the next battle. But there's less of like a overworld that you're exploring and meeting characters in the overworld. You'll be at your hub world. You'll do all those maintenance things, and then you'll jump back into a battle on a battlefield, generally isometric grid, very strategy heavy.
Yeah.
And then I would also say the last thing is compared to other RPGs where it's just like kill the bad guy, the battlefield element adds different win conditions that
That's
is kind
true.
of different, right? So it's like get to the exit, escort a character, keep them safe,
Yeah.
and get the payload to the end, blow up a target or multiple targets, kill a certain number of specific enemies while avoiding other enemies, maybe, or protect a certain site from an onslaught.
Yeah.
So I think those allow for these different win conditions in a way that normal turn-based RPGs don't exactly allow for.
I think you nailed it. I want to read a quick little excerpt from this awesome, really thick, cool book called A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games.
I want you to read it.
It's so cool. I love
That is
it.
I remember seeing that book and looking through that book at your place.
Right.
It's a good one.
It's really cool. On page 493, it starts talking about they call them strategy RPGs, and we're going back and forth with strategy and tactical. So I'll quickly read through a little excerpt on the beginning of strategy RPGs. Again, this is on page 493. What separates a mere strategy game from a strategy RPG? After all, RPGs are all about numbers, and with strategy computer games basically just simulating dice rolls, what's really the difference? As with every definition, it depends on who you ask. Is there an overarching narrative? Are the characters you command faceless warriors, or do they have defined names with personalities and roles in the story? And perhaps as importantly, do they develop over the course of the game, increasing in strength and gaining new abilities? These are elements that separate Fire Emblem from its earlier siblings, Famicom Wars, otherwise fairly similar games. Entire books can be written on the strategy RPG genre, so the following section is more of an overview of the bigger and more interesting series. And then this goes to talk about Tactic Ogre, Final Fantasy, Shining Force, Valkyrie Chronicle, Disgaea, Devil Survivor, a ton of strategy RPGs
Yeah.
up until, from basically the 80s up until like 2018, 2019, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
What a cool book.
it's really cool. My goal is to try to use it more for every episode that we can to kind of cite it a little bit. It's really cool. I want to give the author credit really quickly as well. Kurt Collada, I believe. No, Kurt Collada did the introduction. My apologies. No, it is Kurt Collada. Yeah. By
Love it.
Bitmap Books. Yeah, it's really cool, folks. Go out and get it. I'll link it in the notes of our episode also.
Okay, great. So I think we have a decent understanding of what they are, and I think both of us have a decent, we are not going to be the quintessential scholars on tactical RPGs, but I think we've played a decent number of them. What have been some of the ones you've played, DJ? Some of the examples and some of your favorites?
Yeah, I Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem
Yes.
Blazing Blades, Triangle Strategy. I think you and I have played both or all three of those games so far.
Hmm.
I would probably consider the Divinity Original Sin that I played the first game, tactical RPG, Wild Arms XF, which I got about 10 or 12 hours into that game. Really fun. And a lot of those were not beat the bad guy, but like get to the exit or
Yeah.
escort, so many people to the exit. I would say a borderline game would be 13 Sentinels. I see that someone that we follow on YouTube, and I forget their name now. Darn it, I forget their name now because they went through a transition. But they just said that 13 Sentinels they would consider that a strategy RPG.
Oh,
Yeah, I would agree with them because it is kind of team versus team.
Cool.
So, a game that I think I've mentioned more than once on the pod that at some point I really want to play. I started 13 Sentinels like multiple times, and I need a buddy system to get me through it.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to be that buddy. I will be your buddy.
Be my buddy. Let me get past the first like 5 hours.
I'm down for that.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I played a lot of those same ones.
Yeah.
All the Fire Emblems. Plus, I've also played Engage for a lot of hours. I loved Engage, Fire Emblem Engage. Loved
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy. I played both of the Mario versus Rabbids hybrid Nintendo games, with the Mario and the Rabbids ones, the Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope. Those are actually solid games. Really like those tactical RPG type games.
Nice.
Then I'm gonna drag you a little bit on this one.
What?
Metal Slug Tactics
Oh my
that
gosh,
we talked
stop.
about. We talked about both playing and reviewing. I loved that one. It's kind of antithetical of Fire Emblem in like the gameplay in a lot of ways, but I love it. It's very good. I will
I
keep
played
dragging you on
I
that one.
played I played like an hour and a half of it. I did. I'm ready to review.
Yeah, exactly. And then the ones that are kind of borderline that we had mentioned before are, turn-based ones, but maybe just more of a focus on turn-based RPGs with more of a focus on positioning because they're on a grid that's smaller. Would be
Sure.
like Live Alive, or similarly, the South Park game, The Fractured But Whole, is on a grid like that, and you move your characters around. So more
Oh
like
no
Live
way.
Alive. So yeah, so probably not quite strategy or tactical RPG, but a turn-based RPG with more movement based on a small grid.
Strategy
Anyway,
strategy elements.
strategy element. There you go. That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
But let's jump into some ones that we are excited for, and we will, varying degrees of how likely we would be to play it in the future, but
I know.
we definitely want to, in an ideal world, play all these. So, DJ, what is your first one you want to discuss?
Yeah, I want to, and feel free to jump in on this one too, because you and I both want to play this one. I
This
know
is true. This is
is
true.
the Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Path
So
of
that was
Radiance.
first released April 20th, 2005 on the Nintendo GameCube. But for those of you who have a
Whoop,
Switch
whoop.
2, so that would be you, not me.
That is me. That is
Yet,
me.
I know. It will be released on the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube app sometime this year, probably. Maybe next year. It is developed by Intelligent Systems, published by, of course, Nintendo. And why do we want to play it? Well, it's Fire Emblem, duh. So
Duh.
it's your classic tactical gameplay with swords, spears, arrows, dragons, etc. Any stuff you want to talk about with Fire Emblem
Yeah, there
Path
was
of
some cool
Radiance?
stuff when I was looking into it. Some cool different stuff. So the normal Fire Emblem stuff is enough for me. All the
Yeah.
stuff I'm used to and all the systems I'm used to, I'm like, that sounds cool. I'll do another Fire Emblem story and gameplay any day of the week, especially if it's included with Nintendo Switch Online, just
Yeah.
for free, basically, halfway free. But some cool things. So there's characters that are called these. I'm probably saying this wrong, but like Lagues changelings. So they're changeling characters, and
Uh-huh.
so you're humanoid, and then you can switch into various animals. So sometimes they're cat-like animals, like a tiger or a lion. There's different birds that you can change into, or dragons. So like at some point, I think some meter builds up, and then you can switch, and then you have the ability to be the beast for a little bit, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
There's like a biorhythm mechanic. So you have to keep track of your character's biorhythm, and they might be stronger or weaker based on how high their or low their rhythm is at any moment, which is interesting to me. That'd
Ooh.
be yeah, it's a weird mechanic there. And then I kind of like this one. If I understood it correctly, there are support conversations during the battle preparation stage that would indicate to you if there's someone you can recruit during that battle. Maybe there's a special item you can get there, all those kind of things. Some of these earlier, and this
Yeah.
one's not really that much, not as early as Blazing Blade, but um, you really have to like have a guide or something to tell you if there's a way to recruit somebody or there's a special item that you might miss in that on that battlefield. And so having a support conversation that lays it out there and says, makes it known that you might get a new character, you might get a new item. That sounds great. I love that quality of life to
Yeah.
not just miss things and then be so sad
Well,
about it.
especially missing like some major characters. That's always kind of frustrating when you're like, well,
Exactly.
guess I could have gotten those characters, but how did I know to go inside that store and buy a candle?
And you know me, like it takes me long enough to play games. I hate having my facing a book or reading an article for just as long as I'm playing the game
Yeah.
to know what I'm doing. I want to play the game. But
I
anyway,
know, no, I know. Quick tangent. I no one wants to play those any game with their face like stuck in a book. I say that, and the intention of like some of these RPGs, especially in the late '80s, early '90s, it's frustrating because neither of us were really playing RPGs back then, and the intention of some of those games, it was to have a guide to
yeah.
guide you, but it wasn't
Mhm.
meant to be like a face it down in the book the entire time. Like that is not fun for me either.
But we've said this before. I think you're right. They would come with guides, right? And then they were less emphasis on menu systems and other and tutorials and in-game things that explained it to you, right? And then
Yeah.
also, I am highly guilty of not wanting to read a guide, but watching hours of YouTube tutorials on how to do the game, how the gameplay works, and those
Okay,
kinds. So
bro, that's the
I'm guilty
exact
of it.
same. Yeah, that
I'm
is
guilty. I'm recognizing this. I'm
you're
recognizing
I
this.
appreciate your growth. All right, Sam, what's what's a game you want to play? I want to play this one too, so
So yeah, they're Final Fantasy Tactics, okay, one of the OGs.
of course.
But I now get my wish to have the remake, which I believe they're calling the Ivalice Chronicles. So I'm so excited about that. The original release of Final Fantasy Tactics was June 20th, 1997, so a long time ago.
Yeah.
Galaxy far, far away. But the remake will be coming out in September of this year, the end of September of 2025. Originally, it was just on PlayStation, or I guess you could emulate it. But the remake is coming to like everything:
Yeah.
Switch, 1, 2, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox systems, Windows, Steam, developer and publisher. Square Enix. I think the name changed between the original and
Yes.
the remake.
Used to be Square Soft, I think.
Yeah. So, why would we want to play this? So, I see this one as kind of maybe Tactics Ogre was the original. I think those ones came earlier than Final Fantasy, but I'd call this the original GOAT or the original greatest one that everybody talks about, right? Like the
I'd
older
agree.
one that's thought of at such high esteem. It's got the classic jobs and class systems with JP or job points to upgrade. It had like a 10 out of 10 on RPG Gamer, a 34 out of 40 on Famitsu, an 83 out of 100 on Metacritic, so really high scores. Supposed to have a good story. Well, just to mention, I guess there's a War of the Lions or something like that DLC to it that this will not include. So I don't know if they'll add that back later. Some
Eh,
people are kind of peeved about that. But the good stuff that it's going to have is better graphics, an expanded field of view, which sounds cool, so you can make sure you see more of the battlefield,
nice.
updated story and script, and then surely lots of other quality of life, maybe speeding up. I didn't read that, but I would expect they'll reveal more quality of life updates that they'll have in this remake.
I
So
would hope
I'm
so.
stoked.
I am too. Yeah. God, I love a speed up option and quality of life.
I am so guilty of that. I
Is
guess
it?
it's just the feel. I wouldn't think I'd be such a snob about that, but I'm learning a lot about myself.
I'm learning a lot about you too.
I
Yeah,
think it's been known. It's been known.
she been known. She likes quality of
Listeners to the
life.
show know.
They do.
But
Curmudgeon.
anyway, anything else you'd say about that, or you want to jump to your next one on your list?
I'm excited to play Final Fantasy Tactics finally. That's another one that I tried back in like seventh grade or sixth grade maybe, and I probably got like a couple hours into it, and then I had to return the game because I rented it.
Oh no.
Right, yeah, and I don't think I was smart enough to understand how to really like effectively, efficiently play it back then.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying I'm much smarter now than a seventh grader, but I think I can handle myself a little bit
It
better.
I think you do. It's kind of mandatory for us to play this too. I feel like we're a little bit of imposters if we talk about turn-based RPGs and we haven't played Final Fantasy
I know.
Tactics. So we will.
Have you
We will.
pre-ordered it? I pre-ordered it already.
Oh, no, you're better than I am. No, I
I
did not.
I am better than you. I just like to hear it.
Whatever. Jump to the next one. What are you talking about next?
Yeah, well, you mentioned it in your review of Final Fantasy Tactics. This one, Tactics Ogre Reborn, or Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together, I believe is the PSP title. So, originally
Oh,
released on
I thought you
the.
were writing me a little note there. Sometimes we write little notes on our script.
We do.
There were little comments.
Yeah, we do.
And when you wrote in, because there's no capitalization and it just says "Let us cling together?" question mark. I'm like, what am I supposed to make of that?
Yeah,
Am I
it's my.
supposed to be doing something? Is this code?
Sam, don't you know, for the past 15 years, our little code where we just whisper to each other, let us cling together. Obviously, that's what we would
And then we
do.
do this thing. No, okay. All right,
Yeah.
I get it now. That makes more sense. Proceed.
Yeah, so Tactics Ogre originally released on the Super Nintendo slash Super Famicom, 1995. Then it was had a remake on the PSP in 2010, and then re-release and remastered of the remake on modern consoles in 2022.
Is there going to be a test on this later?
God, I hope not. But if a game that gets released and then remade and then remastered, it's got to be because it's a good game, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
one way of interpreting that.
Wow. Wow. No, it's got to be because it's a
No, it's
good
because it's
game.
good. It's because they wanted to make more ways for people to play it and modernize it.
Exactly. And they're doing that with a lot of games these days, Final
They
Fantasy
are.
Tactics being one of them. So I appreciate it. Yeah, released on SNES, then PSP. Now it's available for PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. Developed and published by our friends at Square Enix. Why do we want to play it? Why do I want to play it? I actually kind of like the political intrigue, the Games
Mm.
of Thronesies kind of aspect to it. Even though I didn't love Game of Thrones, I do like living in that world and playing a game in that world. Plus, there are over 30 classes, which is really
Nice.
intriguing.
I like that. I like that. You can sell me on classes. I love it.
Yeah, plus I think that the sprite work looks really pretty.
Cool.
I know you and I both are not graphics snobs, and I think you and I both can appreciate some pixel work.
Absolutely. I think we do. But then, like, I don't know how far you're into Clair Obscur Expedition 33, but like, then I played that one and I was just like blown away. And
Oh,
the graphics are
yeah.
so pretty that I can also appreciate the other end of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
But
Appreciating beautiful modern graphics doesn't mean we also have to not appreciate old pixel graphics. You know what I mean?
true, true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Both
Yeah,
and.
both and I think, I mean, I would not be surprised if we review Tactics Ogre at some point.
Dude, I would play everyone on this list. It's just gotta have the time. Gotta have the
Jeez,
time.
I know. What about your next one, Samuel? What's
So
something you want to
speaking
play?
of, this is one I've started before,
Oh,
and just not gotten into it, but I'm very excited to play it at some point. XCOM 2.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, kind of what I would call this one more of the, from what I've heard and read and stuff, more of a modern GOAT one. Like people talk about XCOM 2 as a very, exceptional strategy tactical RPG.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's see, a release date in 2016, February, basically all systems, Windows, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, actually also iOS and Android, interestingly enough. Developed
Oh,
by Firaxis Games and published by 2K. Why would I play it? It's got a cool sci-fi story. You're kind of the resistance against aliens that have taken over Earth. So it's not just being attacked by Earth. Like apparently
ooh.
you done lost, and now you're trying to take it back,
You
which is
done
cool.
lost.
You done lost. The hub build your hub base is supposed to be, really intricate and cool, how you can build up different aspects of it and add a lab and add just a bunch of different sections to your hub building, and that sounds fun. And then yeah, just seen as this fantastic, much more modern RPG, and I think it had like a 88 on Metacritic and a 9.3 out of 10 on IGN, just really super high scores, and I've always wanted to get into it, but yeah, so that's why.
Fun.
Yeah,
You love a sci-fi game.
I do. I do. I'm a sucker for it. That's like the main thing I read. So then gaming it bleeds over. But what's next, DJ? What you got next?
Shining Force 2. I want to play that.
Have I ever even heard of it? I don't even know if I've heard of this one. Explain it
It's
to me.
okay. It was released in 1993, but at various other times it's also been re-released, not remade or not remastered or anything, but it's been released in like these Sega collections on some modern consoles.
So because it was
So
originally a Sega.
it's originally
Sega.
Sega Genesis, and then it was released on like Sega collections on PS3, 4, and 5, and Switch, Xbox One, 360, and apparently on mobile at some point as well. And I know it's
It's so funny
also
when they do that.
right at some point I was on Steam. I don't think it's on Steam anymore. Sometimes they lose licensing or there's
On Steam?
yeah, it was
I didn't
on
know that happened
Steam.
on
You could
Steam.
buy it for $1.99 at one point on Steam. Yeah, what a steal.
I
Published,
know.
obviously, by Sega. Developer was Sonic Software Planning, so that's gotta be an offshoot of Sega, right? It's gotta be. So why do I want to play it?
Hedgehog Incorporated.
Hedgehog. It seems I want to play it because it seems simple, but not in a bad way. I think the sprites, the pixel animation looks really pretty. There's something about pixel animation on Sega that the color palette that they use is different than on Super Nintendo.
Brighter.
It is. It's brighter and simpler in
That's the
some ways
backlight.
too. I think maybe it is just the backlight. I don't know, but it looks cool, especially when you. It's kind of like the earlier, not earlier. It's kind of like the Fire Emblem games that you're on a
I'm looking at
grid.
it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
on a
it
grid, and
looks
then
like it looks kind of like Blazing Blade esque,
right,
right?
and
Yeah,
then when you
yeah.
get into your when you start to fight somebody, you have this like over the shoulder view, which I think is kind of unique. It's not side by. It's not like this like parallel, but like over the shoulder, and the other person's off, and your enemy's off in the
Yeah,
distance.
yeah, I like that. I'm looking at a few pictures here. There's almost like a trippy depth of field to it too, like
Yeah.
with the background, which is kind of cool when you're fighting. Maybe that's just these pictures I'm seeing, but cool.
I also like this because it does not have permadeath, and that stresses me out. So
Noob.
this, shut up. So I like that this doesn't have it. I say this is a shorter game, but I'm also using like modern gaming as my like barometer for that because it's still around 30 hours, which is not a short game for a game made in 1993.
But it kind of is a short game for tactical or strategy RPGs. What I was finding is the ones I've played before that I know of, and looking through these, like it's they're longer because each battle, you like your positioning, it takes a long time. It's not
Yep.
just a turn-based battle that it's bam, bam, bam. I knocked out all the enemies. Like there's so much to each battle, and then if you have 30 battles in 40 battles in a game or something, and each one could take,
An hour.
almost an hour. Yeah, each one could take an hour, and then you have all the time between in the hub world. These are long games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 30 hours is really not too long of a
I
game.
would I would agree.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's something that we would review on the pod. It might be something that I play and try to convince you to play at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What's your what's your next one, Sam? What is
You're gonna
this?
laugh. You're gonna
I
laugh. So, have you not heard of this one?
I have, and I'm not interested in playing it.
Well, at first I stopped thinking about it, okay? And
Okay,
the reason, well, let's get into it. It is The 100 Line, The Last Defense Academy.
I
Okay, so
can't
this is a
believe
much newer
this.
one. I know I kind of can't believe I put it down either, but I read more into it, I looked more into it, and I kind of liked it. Okay, so just released. It's a much newer game, April 24th, 2025. This is a Switch game, also on Windows and Steam, developed by Tokyo Games and MediaVision, and published by Aniplex. And so, okay, why we're laughing about this and why why we're saying it's kind of like a Persona tactical RPG, and you are in a school and there are relationships and stuff, which is all stuff that I have
You hate
over and over
this,
and over again said how much I don't like them. So one reason I might want to play this is maybe I got to get over that. Maybe
and this
maybe
is the game you're choosing.
did you not look into it? Okay, so it's also a really fun looking tactical RPG that is supposed to be extremely fun, and the gameplay is supposed to be awesome. So, okay, it's got. I just can't get over
Hmm.
how mad your face is right now. So, it's very kind of over the top and some fun anime visuals. You are in a school, and
Ugh.
but it's a cooler sci-fi dystopian into the world. You're saving everything, and your school is like the academy that's training you to save the world from the apocalypse, kind of. Less than like we're just going to high school. It's like you're training in this school. It's a defense academy to save from whatever this existential threat is to your society, which is much cooler than hey, I got history class. Um, which is what Persona is. But it does have a lot of
Oh.
similarities to Persona, even down to the like. Apparently, you get some special powers and you activate them by like plunging a dagger into your heart or something. It's kind of on the nose. Um. Anyway, yeah, I know DJ's face right now. If you all could see it.
Come on.
Um. I know. But so it's tactical RPG with the gameplay. It also apparently your attacks are like some of these ones, kind of like Live Alive, that each attack has a shape to it, or I guess for Live Alive, it's more of like a shape to where you can attack, but this is a shape to where the attack hits. And there are a mix of minions, which are kind of one-hit enemies, and also bigger, badder enemies, and they come in like waves. So I guess part of the fun of it is you are trying to utilize the shapes of your attack to take out the most minions in one attack, and then use your bigger attacks as you build up certain gauges against the larger baddies. So there's some interplay and some different mechanics there that are apparently really fun. So yeah. Anyway, I watched a few videos on it. It actually looked really good. Did you not watch the Switch Up video on it?
I
Video
don't think
review?
so. No.
Watch that and get back to me and see what you think. We love the Switch Up guys. Shout out to Switch Up.
I actually do love the switch up guys, but I don't know. I'll look at it. It does
You
not
don't
look
have
like
to.
my
We
type
have
of
plenty of
game.
games. You got to say no to something. But I could do it. Convince me. How funny would that be if I was convincing you to play a game with high school relationship side games?
You say that like I love the social sim aspect. You know my one complaint about the Persona games are the fucking social sim
That there's not
aspects.
enough social sims. Yes,
Oh
ridiculous.
God.
Anyway, okay, well, let's move on to something that doesn't sound like it's at all in a school or could be social related.
Shut up. Shut up. Anyway, this next game's called Demon School. Whatever.
Stop telling me I like Persona about demons and being in high school. My game's called Demon
Demon
School.
School. Shut up.
Like
Whatever.
literally, if AI or something had to make fun of like rename Persona, they would call it Demon
They
School.
would maybe call it Demon School. Anyway, this game has been delayed for I think it's been getting like almost a year delay at this point. So it's supposed to be
That's how
out.
you know it's good.
I know, right? Or it's going to be really buggy when it
I'm
gets
just being a
released
hater.
finally.
Okay,
It's
sell
supposed to
sell
be
me on
released
Demon School.
the third quarter of 2025. I'm not exactly sure when those quarters begin and end, but we've got to be entering quarter three pretty soon, I'd assume.
Yeah.
So I think there's a demo, or at least there was at one point on Steam. So I'm going to try that out at some point. It's going to be released on Steam. In fact, Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux, but also onto the Switch, PS4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. The developer is Necrosoft Games. Publisher is Yeezbird Games. That's how I'm going to say it, at
I
least.
was gonna say, where are you going with this one?
I don't know. So why do I want to play it? It kind of looks like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets the first Persona game. There are 15 playable party members. It's a they describe it as light horror RPG. The game description itself says inspired by 70s Italian horror. So for our film buffs out there, that would be called like a giallo film.
Hmm.
Really colorful looking environments, cool looking monsters. Sign me the hell up. I'm totally down. Yes, it's in high school or college, maybe. I don't really know age wise of where they are. I'm hoping that it's not bogged down by too much social simulation stuff. I know there are side quests, and I know that there are um, building like I guess relations with your teammates or whatever, which can affect the ending. I don't. That's all that the website says. So it could be
Hmm.
the same way that you build up relations with your teammates in Fire Emblem, where it doesn't really matter that much, or it could be head on super persona-y. Guess we'll find out when it's released. But it's been a
Cool.
game I've been looking at for a while, so I'm definitely gonna get it when it comes out.
Yeah, and you can always do the demo like you said, which is nice.
Yeah, I think I might finally just play that. I don't know. I hate playing demos because then I get sad that there's only like an hour or two to play, and then I'm like, well, I want to play the whole game.
Well, but most of them let you fold it over into the whole game then,
They
right?
do. I don't know if this one will. I'll have to check
Oh.
into that. But yeah, you should check it out. If for nothing else, it visually looks like a game that'd be up your alley. Though I'm not sure if the actual gameplay would be something you'd play.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I'll look into it.
look into it, babe. What's the next game for you?
Okay, so this one's from a series, and I'm just kind of interested in this in the series in general, and this is supposed to be one of the best ones from
Oh,
that series, Disgaea 5. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, released in 2015, March 25th, onto PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Windows. It is developed and published by Nippon Ichi Software. Why would I want to play it? So, I do notice in the Fire Emblem games how polished they feel in the later ones because it's a series. They've done this. The systems feel polished. They work, right? So,
Yeah.
this is the fifth entry, and I think there's seven so far. But I was reading a lot about how the fifth one is seen as one of the better ones, or maybe the best one. And kind of what I want to try a Disgaea game for is it seems to be all about there's really good systems for a tactical RPG, but it's all about breaking the game with those systems, taking everything up to 11. It's all about like pumping out the most ridiculous numbers, like doing billions or trillions of damage, and that's the whole thing. Like by the time you get to the end game, if you can't just do like trillions and trillions of damage, like that's how you have to beat these end game bosses. And so it's like
Oh.
taking it to that nth degree, and that sounds fun to do. So that's why I wanted. Like I was watching it, and so you have stat bars, right, on most of these things, and you see your stat bar, grows and goes to a certain point. And I was watching some videos showing character creation, and the stat bars were just growing past like the board and
What?
going way off into it. Yeah, because there's no maxing out the stat. It just keeps going past like where you think that the it could grow to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just take everything up to 11 and ridiculousness, and that sounds cool to try.
Okay. I mean, the neat Nippon Ichi games. I've played one of them before, and I
What
and
else?
I
What else do they make?
they have another one that I believe is loosely related to the Disgaea series called the La Pucelle Ragnarok Tactics, where I think
Oh,
some of those characters eventually make an appearance in the Disgaea games. I've not played the La Pucelle game or whatever, but it's a tactic game that I'm interested in playing, and it I think you can buy it in like a package with the game Rhapsody 2
hmm,
and Rhapsody, which I played the second Rhapsody game at the end of last year, which is another Nippon Ichi software game, and it's pretty sprite work and it looks cool. It's
nice.
yeah. So you know what, Sam, I would maybe play this one with you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be super grindy though. That would be a down. I've
Gotcha.
heard it's super grindy.
It's on Switch
Because
though.
yeah,
Is it on PlayStation? You said.
yes.
Oh, cool. I don't know. Maybe
Let's think
I don't
about it.
know.
Let's think about it.
I consider it. I would consider it.
Okay, and then I added one more at the end today.
How
One
dare
more game to
you?
talk about. I know. I just because I had thought about it and I talked to my brother about it, and this is Marvel's Midnight Sun. So also a
Ooh.
more recent one. I think it was December of 2022. I forgot to. Anyway, I have 202 on our little outline here, and I forgot to write the last year. What year was it? Doesn't matter. Released in PlayStation, Xbox, X and S, Windows, Steam. No Nintendo for this one. I saw, just crazy. Why would they do that?
How
But yeah, I don't
how
know. I
would
didn't see it
like
on Windows. I'm pretty sure that's true. Um, Similar to XCOM, was created by or developed by Firaxis Games, and also similar to XCOM, 2K published it. Why would I play it? Well, the X-Men are awesome. You're playing with like X-Men characters.
yeah.
It also has a deck builder system along with it. So each of your turns, the moves you can utilize are going to be dictated by the cards you draw from the deck you build. So that's a whole different mechanic, which sounds really super cool. And
Cool.
yeah, my older bro Ben, shout out Ben, plays a lot of games, and he thought this one was awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, that's why I want to play it.
Interesting. Cool, man.
I know. But what that then made me want to chat about for a second was looking a little bit into the genetics of X-Men.
And here we go to a medical moment with
Mini
Sam.
medical moment.
Yeah, disclaimer, turn-based besties is solely for fun and educational purposes. Anything discussed on the show is not meant to diagnose or treat medical conditions. This information is not suitable for professional medical advice. You should always ask your medical providers and potential health concerns. We are a video game podcast. We are not a medical podcast.
That was quick. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's not much here, but it was fun. So yeah, we all love the X-Men, and we've all watched plenty of X-Men. And why are they X-Men? Why are they mutants? Because they have the X gene. So
Yeah, X gonna give it to you.
that's what it comes from. But
Hmm?
the apparently like these immortal celestials or whatever just imbued the X gene onto humans or something like that. And that's some part of like the history, but whatever. Basically, nothing that I was reading was consistent amongst itself. So between comics, they change what it is all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely not consistent with my knowledge of actual genetics. So it's fun. But sometimes they say that it is on chromosome 23, which would be the classic, XY or sex chromosomes. And sometimes they say it's inherited from the mom in certain comics. Does that mean it's on mitochondrial, DNA? As we talked about before, you get the one thing you would get only from your mom generally is from the mitochondrial DNA.
And we
Others
only
say
know
it's
that because of Parasite Eve.
because of Parasite Eve. It taught us that. And then other times it says you inherit it from your dad. Yeah, but you definitely can inherit it because there's plenty of cases of like Magneto's children were all mutants. Apparently, if there's two mutants that have kids, they always are mutants. Um, it's weird though, because that makes it, we're talking about heritability and having a trait or not having a trait. And then other times they talk about the X gene being activated, like it's present in everybody, and it just needs to be activated or not activated, but it's like always there. So that
Huh.
would talk about kind of epigenetics, or when do you activate a gene? When do you turn it on? When is it silenced? When is it unable to be, transcribed? And so there's a lot there that I think
Hmm.
it's definitely more of a plot device and story device than it is supposed to be a true genetic explanation for why they can blast laser beams out of their eyeballs.
Well, that's fun, huh?
So if we do Marvel's Midnight Sun, I'll look a lot more into it and talk way more about the genetics.
The genetics. That sounds cool, Sam. I'm glad you were able to give us a lecture today on that.
I know that was fun. But anyway, what else? So we talked a lot about games that we aren't playing.
Yeah,
What
right.
games are we playing right now?
Seriously, what games are you playing right now, Sam?
Well, so I'm playing some Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. It's awesome. I've got a Skell, as they call it, the mechs. I'm going all around in my mech. It's
Very
great.
cool.
I'm very early, but I have started Lunar. Have started Lunar.
Very
And
cool.
it is so pleasant. It's just like just the
It's
chiptune music
yeah.
is nice and pleasant. And
Yeah.
actually on the Switch 2 that I'm playing it on, I do think
Oh,
the audio is a little crisper, a little nicer than
nice.
before. So it sounds very nice. It's a
Yeah, it's
good
just a little
widescreen presentation. It's very bright. It just makes you feel good to just kind of walk around.
it's just a little walk
Um,
in the park. That's all it is.
it kind
Yeah.
of is. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I am auto battling way more than I ever thought I would.
I'm
Because it kind of just auto battles the way I would have probably done it or close enough when I'm just kind of grinding. And
that's the remaster. That
yeah,
the auto battle is
the auto battle's
smart now.
pretty good for what I would do for just grinding battles, not
Yeah.
like boss
Oh
battles.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, and but oh man, I am just chomping at the bit, whatever that phrase is,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
to get into Bravely Default Flying Fairy. So at some time I will do that.
Fun.
And then hopping on to, since I have a Switch 2, did you all know that I have a Switch 2? Did I say that enough that I have a Switch 2?
Yes.
So I've got to play like the one game that you can play on Switch 2 that you can't play anywhere else is Mario Kart World. So I've been doing some of that, and it's a blast. So that's fun too. Anyway, what are you doing without your Switch 2?
Without my Switch 2, well, I replayed the prologue of Claire Obscure, so it's exciting. I'm excited to like really get into it. I replayed
The
the
prologue is
prologue.
so good though.
It is. I replayed it because last time I
Oh,
played it was I think like the end of April, and it's been a while, right? And then I
I
got
think
a
I
little
talked to
busy.
like every NPC when I played it,
I
and
did.
I
I
never do
did too,
that.
both times. So I'm gonna be jumping into that. I'm gonna finish Lunar 2. I'm probably like 10 hours from finishing it, so I'll probably finish.
Nice.
I'll probably finish that this weekend. Again, just a nice little stroll through the park, really
Love it.
fun. And then
Yeah,
I
it's
and I
fun.
just I just played a non RPG scary game, one of the Dark Picture anthologies, called
Ooh,
House of Ashes, which is pretty fun. And Ashley Tisdale is one of the actors in it. It's so funny.
cool. Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those are the games we are playing, but y'all, go frickin' follow us at Turn-Based Besties on
Do it.
Instagram. Get us
Do it.
to 500 followers. That'd be super duper cool. Go listen to us on Spotify or wherever the heck you get your podcasts. Also over on YouTube. Did you know we have a subreddit? Can you guess what it's called? It's Turn-Based Besties. Go on over there, join our subreddit, go to our socials, and let us know your thoughts on your favorite strategy or tactical RPGs. You can also email us comments and questions or hate mail at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. Guess what, everybody? We have a new episode release schedule. I'll be saying this for the next couple of episodes to get everyone familiar with it. Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. This isn't every Friday morning, but when we do release main episodes, they will be on Friday mornings. gigantic thanks to everyone who supports us on social media and just in our lives. Thanks for letting two cool ass adults have a podcast about video games. Very unique.
We're so unique.
We're so unique here, and I love going on unique adventures with you on every episode, Sam.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So, like we say, always and forever, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn Based Besties. Bye!
Bye.